everyone, super quick how-to video to make sure you don't mess up using Black 3. Before I dive in and show you the important stuff to get the best out of your work, I just want to thank you for supporting us, for ordering Black 3 and getting behind the mission. And the mission is sharing art materials with artists all over the world so they can make art that they couldn't before. 100% of the money that you've spent on our materials has gone into developing new things and supporting a community of artists around the globe. Right, let's have a look at Black 3. Black 3.0 is our latest super black paint. It's an amazing paint, but you can run into some problems if you don't use it properly. There's a couple of key ingredients that I need to tell you about to make sure you don't mess up your art. The first thing you need to know is this paint needs to be stored and used at room temperature. For those of you in Europe, that's between 10 and 25 degrees C, and from our friends across the globe, that's weighing in at between 50 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. If you use it in a really cold room or a really hot room, some weird and funky things can happen. If you're not sure, why don't you just do a little test in your room, see how it comes out. If it's looking weird, your room's too cold or your room's too hot. Okay, the next thing that's really important to learn is, and it sounds a bit condescending and I don't mean it that way whatsoever, I know a lot of you haven't done much painting. I'm actually going to show you how to use paint so that you can get a really nice finish. So I always like to use a soft synthetic brush. You don't need to spend a ton of money on these. You can get these from any art shop. Actually, this one is by Pro Arte. This one is by Liquitex. It's their freestyle range. I love these brushes. But pretty much anything will do. The one you cannot use, do not think you can get away with using one of these really cheap, scratchy bristle brushes. They are absolutely diabolical. Do not use these. They're horrible. Right, if you come a bit closer, I'll give you a little example of how to apply the paint properly. This is not how you paint. You don't get loads on your brush and gloop it all over something really thickly like that and think that's how you paint. It will not end up well. This will not work. It will go weird and you will hate it. What you do is you put a tiny bit on your brush, smallest amount possible, and you try and make it go as far as humanly possible. You really spread it out. If you do that, you'll get a very nice, very flat, very lovely finish, and this will dry blacker and blacker and blacker over time. So they're the important things. Your room is the right temperature. You're using a reasonable brush, not a hairy, spiky comb of a brush, and you're not slapping it on really thick. If you do those things, you're 99.9% likely to have a really great result with Black 3. Now, the other thing I need to tell you is you need to have a little bit of thought about what surface you're putting Black 3 on. There tends to be sort of 3 different types of surfaces that you might be using. You might be using what I call a normal surface, which is probably canvas if you're an artist, or watercolour paper. But you might be using something a little bit different. You might be going on metal or plastic. I'd call that something shiny, non-absorbent, or not absorbent. Or you might be going on something like this. It could be a bit of wood. This is a bit of MDF. This is really absorbent. This soaks up just about anything, or even cardboard. So we need to have a little thought about, are we using something absorbent or something non-absorbent? How we approach those things is different. Now, the good news for you guys who are using what I would call a normal surface, like a stretched canvas or paper, is there's no extra prep needed. You're ready to go straight off the bat with Black 3. So I'll deal with that first. Get your Black 3, shake it. We write shake well on the bottle for a reason. It does matter, because if this has been sat on the shelf or we've shipped it to you halfway across the world, this could have separated a bit. Give it a really good shake. Squeeze out a little bit. Grab your decent brush. Load your brush with a little bit of Black 3, not too much. And then on paper, you're going to spread it out nice and evenly. On canvas, you're going to do exactly the same thing. Now, that is going to be absolutely fine. You're going to leave it to dry. You really want to leave it to dry overnight. It will get blacker and blacker and blacker. It is not a good idea to recoat this until it is fully dry. If you can, and you've got the patience, leave it overnight. That means it will be as good as it can be. Don't be scared to grab a hairdryer and give it a blast. That will actually help it get even blacker in a shorter period of time. And you'll actually see it getting blacker right in front of your eyes. It's actually phenomenal to watch it. So yeah, flash dry it with a hairdryer, leave it overnight, recoat if you like. Really easy on paper and canvas. Now, for those of you who are painting on something shiny, this could be plastic, anything that's not absorbent, plastic or metal. I'm going to use a spoon because I think that's about the most difficult it's ever going to get. I recommend putting down a primer first. Now, we haven't tested Black 3 with every single kind of metal primer on the market, so I can't advise you specifically. I recommend that you do a little test. I always use Black 2.0 when I want to coat glass or metal or plastic because it goes on really, really nicely, as I'll show you. So, a bit of Black 2, nice soft brush, coat your shiny thing. And the nice thing about Black 2, as you can see, is, it just goes on. It's such a pleasure to use, honestly, and the smell's amazing. It just goes on really lovely, really flat, onto metal, glass, just about anything. Again, leave that overnight, and then you're ready to coat with Black 3. If you're going to be going on something porous, like wood or cardboard, you're going to need to seal it first. So the rule is, shiny things, prime them first. Absorbent things, seal them first. And the best thing to seal them with, honestly, is basic craft store PVA glue. We don't sell this on Culture Hustle because you can get it for a couple of pounds, a couple of dollars from your local arts and crafts or DIY store. You want to mix about 25% of this with 75% of water. I've done that here. Literally pennies worth of sealant. Get a soft brush, give it a good old mix up, and be really generous. Coat your wood, your cardboard, whatever it is. Make sure you seal all the edges. Right. Leave this to dry overnight, and then you're ready to rock. Okay, so under here, I have some I made earlier. I have a bit of MDF, that's dried overnight now, so that's nicely sealed. I have a spoon that I have, actually I did 2 coats of Black 2 on that, leaving it to dry, but that's rested overnight as well. And I will show you what happens next. So, quite simply, when you're ready, get your nice soft brush again, dip it into your Black 3, and you're ready to go. Over your Black 2, give it a nice coat of Black 3. There you go, nice and even. You're going to let that dry at least 2 hours. Listen, you think it's dry and you want to recoat it. Resist the urge. If you put fresh Black 3 over slightly wet Black 3, it can go weird. Please let it dry. If in doubt, blitz it with your hairdryer. Let it dry between coats, at least 2 hours, overnight if you're more patient. On your absorbent surface then, likewise, coat of Black 3. Let it dry. Good couple of hours, if you can, overnight. Do not think that by building up loads of paint and 20 layers, it's going to get blacker. It really won't. It will do the opposite. It will start reacting weirdly. The less paint you use, the better your work's going to be. Okay, so you're going to let those dry at least 2 hours, preferably overnight. And then, if you want, you can give them another coat. Under here, I've got this is a bit of the same MDF that's now had overnight to dry. And you can see it's probably going to want an extra coat. So coat number 2 goes over, again nice and thin, again making sure it was very dry between each layer. And there you go, it looks absolutely gorgeous. So that's it on there. And just for the fun of it, there's a bit of cardboard with sealant, so that's PVA glue, 1 coat of Black 3 left to dry overnight, and then we'll add the final top coat of Black 3, which will make it, when it dries, by this time tomorrow, into a super black, awesome coating. Okay guys, that is literally it. So to recap, first thing, don't use a rubbish brush. Second thing, don't put on too much paint. Third thing, make sure your room's a reasonable temperature. If you're painting on something shiny, prime it. If you're painting on something absorbent, seal it. And if you're painting on canvas or paper and you want to recoat it, leave it a good few hours in between. The golden rule, don't put on too much paint and don't put paint over wet paint. Patient. Okay, I love you all very much. There's a community here on Facebook and Instagram. Don't be scared to join it. We love seeing what you make. Let us know what other awesome materials we can come up with. We're here to help and support you, so we can't wait to connect over there. Stay in touch, enjoy Black 3, and thank you so much for getting involved in this. Bye for now.